Hello, everyone. Welcome to Therapeutic Wisdom from the AKASH. It's so good to see you. I hope you are all lovely and wonderful this weekend. How's your weekend going? Happy spring equinox. I want you guys to say hi if you're jumping on. Say hi, say hi, say hi. I want to chat. I want to hang out. Let's play. I'm just checking on my live here to make sure everything looks good and smooth. Yay. All right, welcome to those of you who have not been to Awoken TV before. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to hear from you. I want to welcome you. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. And my name is Laura Mazzotta. I am an Akashic business coach, and I assist people from moving from potent core level healing all the way to multiple six-figure spiritual businesses. And I love it. It is my mission to share the Akashic records and this spiritual business approach, right? Combining spirituality with business strategy with as many people who will listen, right? I am committed to helping light workers rise. Hi, RG. So good to see you. Thank you for commenting so that I know that the comments are working. I really appreciate the help, and I love knowing who's here so that I can feel into your energy and have everybody here together. This means I get to close my phone. Yay, because I know that the comments are working on Facebook. So if you have not been to Awoken TV before, you can learn more at www.awoken.tv or find it on the App Store. And really, it's like a spiritual and metaphysical Netflix. So here you're going to find other shows like this one. You're going to find conscious filmmakers. You're going to find other courses and other skills and tools to help you on your healing journey and your spiritual awakening journey. So thank you so much for being here, whether you're live or on the replay. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to spend time with me here tonight. And I welcome you to ask questions and to invite others that you think could really benefit from the topic that we're talking about tonight. So, tonight we're talking about conscious relationships. So, if you know anybody who could really benefit from information on that, or just some support and some love, or might have a couple of questions to ask, please feel free to share this out to them or to invite them to this live to join us, okay? Hi, Kimberly. Good Sunday. Happy to see you here. Hi, Rosie. So good to see you guys. And I love your little hearts. Thanks for giving me all the colored hearts. That makes me happy. So we're going to be talking about conscious relationships. If you guys are watching me on Emerge Healing and Wellness or in a group or on the Akashic Academy, please know that if you comment while I'm live, I'm not going to see your comments unless you post them on Awoken TV. So if you guys want to chat back and forth and you want me to answer some questions live for you tonight, jump over to the Awoken TV Facebook page and I'm happy to answer all of your questions when you're coming on here on the feed. Okay. Otherwise, I can answer them afterwards. And especially if you tag me. If you tag me, I'll definitely see it. All right. So, those of you who don't know me, like I said, I'm a Akashic business coach, but I've also been a therapist for almost 20 years here in New York. And so I have a lot of experience with assisting people with relationship development and challenges and traumas and relationships, you name it. I have also worked with a lot of families and couples over the past couple decades. So I have a lot of experience under my belt in terms of that. But I have to say that despite all of my education, despite all of the spiritual work that I've done, the most fabulous information that I have received is from my relationship with my husband. And my relationship with my husband is the one of the biggest sources of pride in my life. We've been together for about 25 years. Hi, Sherry. Hi, thanks for being here. So good to see you, honey. Happy spring. Did you guys go to the event? Awoken TV had a spring solstice event yesterday. Let me know if you guys went and just tell me how it was, like if you got something out of it. I would love to know because this is such a beautiful group of people and light workers. And I'm sure that you got some love and some wisdom from that space. Shannon, hi, honey. So good to see you. Yay. Hi, Angela. Oh, I got such good people here tonight. Thank you guys for being here and saying hello. All right, so I'm just going to play with some crystals while we chat here tonight because it makes me happy. And if you guys want to do that, grab them. This is your time. You're devoting this time to yourself right now. So definitely take advantage of it and make it yummy, right? Like make it about you. Take this moment to just chill with yourself or your crystals or both. Okay. So like I said, my relationship with my husband is one of my biggest sources of pride. we have such a phenomenal relationship, and we've been through lots of different phases and lots of different ups and downs. Of course, we've been together for almost 25 years. So, we've known each other from when we were littler nuggets to now. And there's been a lot of transformation in both of us, and we just grow together so beautifully and so consciously. And like I told him, I was like, so you met this type A therapist, like analytical academic, right? And now you're married to a feminine flow hippie. So I was like, sorry for completely changing my identity over the course of the past 25 years. And thank you for loving me enormously. And for the fact that our relationship continues to grow and expand even more dynamically and more richly and more intimately as we continue to grow as individuals, right? So I love having that position to be able to speak to for you guys. But also relationships exist in all sorts of forms, right? We talk about our families, and we did talk about family dynamics a couple weeks ago. So that's one you can refer back to on my YouTube channel if you need to. Okay. And interesting. That's very interesting. And I can PM you a little bit about that too, my love. But you identify your mom 7 hours away from me, and she's here visiting me this weekend. So it's really interesting that her energy is coming through because that's very present in my field right now, obviously. So when we talk about conscious relationships, what is the difference between conscious relationships and not conscious relationships? Which, if they're not conscious, what are they? Are they subconscious? Are they unconscious? Are they distracted? Are they self-focused? What does that mean if they're not conscious, right? And so I don't know that putting a term to that is really necessary as much as it's necessary to identify, what do you consider your healthiest relationship to be? It doesn't mean that we're conscious relationships, then we know that as human beings, right? Like it's in our awareness. We can use our five senses, we can use our cognitive understanding and know that we're in a relationship, right? But when it comes to conscious relationships, it's really about identifying um, am I understanding? Yes, I have a moon tattoo that my daughter gave me this weekend. So you guys can enjoy that as I fly my hands around this evening. But consciousness in relationships is really about understanding the different layers of how we show up and the different layers of how we interact. And knowing very clearly that when somebody pisses you off in a relationship, which is going to happen because we're human beings, especially those more intimate relationships for you, because you're seeing each other more often, you're engaged at a much more intimate level, and there's going to be those pain points or those soft points that are going to be hit a lot more often, right? Because it's close to your heart. So being able to realize that when we're in these conscious relationships, that those people are mirroring back to us the areas that we need to heal and grow, right? Hi, Laura. So good to see you. You just look like her all of a sudden. Interesting. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you for reflecting that to me, by the way, because I think it's really important for you to be here. Obviously, right? There must be a message for you that is meant to come through today. So, okay. So, anyway, so with the conscious relationships, we want to be aware of the different layers at which people operate, right? So, we talk about how do I show up in my physical body? That's not just how I'm speaking, it's my nonverbal behavior, it's how I'm acting as well, right? And then we talk about our emotions, and then we talk about our thoughts and our cognitions, right? But then beyond that, it's just our energy. So I might be the smartest person on the planet and be able to have great conversations with you, but if you're not a big fan of my energy, is it really going to sink in? Is it really going to get internalized? Right? It's all about how do you feel when you're in my field and how do I feel when I'm in yours? And being able to realize that I have an aura around me and you have an aura around you. And if we're in a relationship, our auras are mixing with one another. It's almost like you're creating soup, right? Like you're taking one person's soup and the other person's soup, and you're mixing them together, and you're making a new concoction out of the energy that's interacting between the two of you. Okay. So it's cool because anytime we talk about conscious relationships, you want to be very, very clear that there's you and your energy field, there's the other person in their energy field. So you're managing, each of you are managing yourselves, right? But then there's an entirely separate entity that is the relationship that exists in the space between the two of you. And that carries just as much value and just as much power and energy as your individual energies, right? So it's very important to realize that that relationship itself is an energetic entity, okay? And to treat it with the same honor and respect that you would offer to yourself if you had certain needs that needed to be met, if you had certain energetic needs that needed some attention, okay? So let me just check in. Oh, she passed the Thanksgiving. I think I do remember that, Christina. Thank you for sharing that. I'm just sending you some love. Did I say hi to you, Laura, already? Hi. Hi, Amber. Yeah. So if you're over on Emerge Healing and Wellness, jump over to Awoken TV because then I'm not going to see your comments and you're going to think that I'm ignoring you and you're going to be like, what is going on with this chick tonight? Right? So just jump over to Awoken and then I can chat with you live. Amber, too, I was just looking in Room for Healing, which is my private Facebook group, and you are, I think, in the top 5 or the top 6 or something of people who are the most active in that group. So congratulations to you, and thank you for being there and being part of that beautiful community. So I was just looking at that the other day, which is exciting. So thank you for being here and welcome. All right. So so have you guys experienced this where it's like, okay, I feel a certain way, my partner or this whatever partner this is in a relationship, it doesn't have to be a romantic one, feels a certain way. But then there's like this weirdness between us or there's this entity between us or this exchange that kind of has its own feel, its own energy, right? And we want to honor all of those things. Okay. Because I can take really good care of myself. My husband can take really good care of him. But then there's our relationship. And what is involved in the energetic entity of our relationship? So many things, right? There's so many things there that are energetic, that are very powerful and strong. Like money is one of them, right? Because we are, of course, in an intimate partnership. So, yes, money is something that we share, that we manage together. So, that's part of it. Our children, that's another one. Our puppy, you could consider that a child, but that's another one. Our home, our property is another one. Our relationships with our families and our devotion to them is another energy that's part of that entity. So it's us being able to really cultivate and nourish and nurture that energy that exists between us that's managing all these other things. And that's really fed by all of this other universal energy, which can come, of course, from other people. It can come from just the money energy. It can come from just the energy of our home, our location, right? And so being able to say, how do we work together to bring forward and raise the consciousness of the planet? And that is what is so beautiful about my relationship with my husband is that, yes, I'm the one who is showing up here. I'm the one who is talking to you. I'm the one who is sharing the wisdom from the Akash. I'm the one who's tapped into the Akashic records, right? But I have the freedom to do this in the way that I do because of all the things that he does as well. So I truly consider that every single time I show up online, every single time I serve my clients, we're doing it as a team, right? Because we are such a foundation that we make the energy stabilized and have so much momentum that we're able to offer to the other people in our lives or to serve our purposes in this lifetime. Does that make sense? So it's not just, okay, what makes Laura happy? What makes Dino, my husband's name is Dino, happy? And then what makes our relationship happy? But it's also, what is Laura's soul purpose? What is Dino's soul purpose? And why are our soul purposes intertwined right now at this moment in time in this lifetime? How is that serving the highest good of the planet? How is that serving the elevation of consciousness on the planet? So it's important that when you're looking at your relationships, you're not just considering, oh, this person is doing X, Y, and Z, and it's pissing me off, and this is why. You're saying, okay, That's reflecting this person came in to reflect something back to me, to create some friction, to help me understand how I am meant to move forward from here. Those changes that I need to make to be able to serve my purpose in a greater way. So we're looking at the bigger picture. It's really important to look at the bigger picture when you're looking at conscious relationships because it's like, okay, well, you might be pissing me off right now, but ultimately, what is our goal here? What are we working toward? And how does this serve other people? So that's what's so cool about conscious relationships is not just determining, okay, what makes you happy, what makes me happy, but how does our collaboration of energy serve the planet? How does our collaboration of energy serve higher consciousness? And this doesn't mean that my husband has to be spiritual because he's not. My husband is not spiritual. I'm obviously, it's like my entire life, right? That's what I base almost everything on. Would make all where I make all my decisions from is the Akashic records. But he doesn't have to be, right? It's just that we have both chosen to be in this life together. And so we are then choosing to make decisions that allow me to serve in a greater way and allow him to serve in a greater way. So this is a really good journal question for you guys with your relationships is to identify, okay, what is it about this relationship at this moment in time that is serving the higher good of the planet? How is our connection, and this could be with your mother, it could be with your father, it could be with your cousin, it could be with your friend. How is our connection in service? How is it serving others? How is it serving higher consciousness and fulfilling purpose? And if you don't have an answer to that, I'd encourage you to go into meditation and to consider it more deeply or open it up as a conscious conversation. And not being afraid to open it up as a conscious conversation because, again, it's about understanding yourselves and each other so much more intimately at every layer of being. So it's like, okay, well, your behavior looks this way, your emotions look this way, your thoughts look this way. And then this is what I'm kind of sensing from you, just energetically. And being able to follow the whole layer and understanding, okay, so you're acting this way. What's that about? Get curious. Curiosity is the number one driver of conscious relationships. That is the number one way that you are going to grow and benefit from conscious relationships. Getting curious instead of getting reactive, instead of getting judgmental, instead of feeling poor me, right? Getting curious about, okay, you're acting in this way. What's that about? What were you feeling, right? We talk about the physical, this is how you're acting. Then we say, what were you feeling at the time? That's your emotional. All right, what was the thought that came before that? Like, how does this make sense to you? Like, what way are you perceiving or interpreting the world to feel that way and then act this way? And you help one another because what you do is you identify these are your values, these are my values. What are the values of our relationship? What are the values of our work together as we move forward in this world to serve our greater mission? And I'll tell you, I didn't start my relationship saying, "Oh, we're here together to, you know, lead the rise of light workers." We were in college when we met. I thought he was cute and really freaking nice. He thought the same. That's how it started. So it's not like, "Oh my gosh, like, look at you and your consciousness. Let's raise it together." It doesn't always start that way, okay? This shift happened for me only about 5 years ago. So it doesn't necessarily have to start that way. You can shift into a conscious relationship at any time over the course of your relationship. Okay? You get to make this choice anytime. With my family relationships, with my friendships, etc., I always have a choice to shift and change my perspective on them, how I view them, and how we work together to be able to move forward. Excuse me, as more conscious beings. So does anybody have any questions that are coming up so far? I would love to know. if you guys have any questions or if you're having challenges in your relationship with having them remain conscious. Because when they're not conscious, we get reactive, we get defensive, we try to prove ourselves, we want to be right, we're walking on eggshells, or we're just not growing. We feel kind of stagnant. So that's the other piece. My other question for you is, do your relationships light you up? Do they ignite you into the next level of yourself? Do they make you feel motivated? Do they help you gain momentum? Let me know if you guys are seeing a little lag here. Okay. All right. It just seems like it seems like Facebook might be a little funky this evening. So yeah, so that's how it can show up. And obviously any kind of conflict, consistent pattern conflict in your relationships, you're going to have trouble with this. And it doesn't, this is the other really important thing for you guys to know. To maintain a conscious relationship, you you don't both have to be aware of the fact that things are not conscious. Okay? It only requires one of you to start having awareness of this. So that you can be your best self and serve in the highest good for all. It doesn't matter what the other person does because they're automatically going to shift and change as your vibration heightens. So it's you taking responsibility for yourself and knowing very confidently that not only is this other person going to shift, but that space between you is also going to shift. And you're nurturing that space between you as you shift and change. So this other person doesn't necessarily have to have initial awareness of that. Okay. It only requires one person to start doing this work. And so it's, are you willing and ready to start taking responsibility for owning your vibe and saying, I'll go first, right? We bitch and complain about the stuff that's going wrong. We get upset about what's going on in this interaction, relationships, or with ourselves, or how we feel in this relationship with other people. But we're not using it as an opportunity, right? And it's really an opportunity for us to say, I'll go first. I'll make the change first that I'm hoping for in this relationship, that I'm hoping for in this other person. So Laura says, my relationship with my hubby and children have become stagnant. We have had a lot of different ongoing trials. We're all tired. I'm going to send you some love and some Reiki around this. So when you say they've become stagnant, Laura, what that tells me is that they weren't always stagnant. There were points of passion, there were points of ignition and momentum, right? So it's going back to those times too and wondering, okay, what was going well there? What was working well? How is that benefiting us? And what were the components in place that really allowed that to be the case where we were in a better place? The other thing here is, do you feel stagnant? Do you feel tired just in general in your life? Because what that is it's offering you an opportunity to say, I get to reignite my passion. And it's not like you have to find your passion. It's been there all along. It's just returning to it. It's just getting to know it and getting curious about it and exploring it more deeply. Because how freaking awesome would it be if you could start doing this work and say, I'll go first, right? You start doing this work and you see all of these relationships start to change and shift around you because that's exactly how it happens. I'll give you an example. My son started acting up a lot. He was acting up for, it was, he has his phases where he acts up. Don't we all as human beings, even as adults? But he was acting up. And it was interesting because I started noticing one of the ways he was acting up, and I was like, interesting. Like, that's actually like one of my behaviors that I exhibit sometimes. Now, for me, it comes up as playful, right? It's not like being defiant or something. I'm just being playful. Regardless, it's still an energy that I'm putting out there into the field, right? I'm still out there exhibiting the same either behavior or words or vibe as he's reflecting back to me. So instead of diving in on him and saying, "Come on, dude, get your act together. What the hell's going on?" And of course I talk to him. "Oh, thank you, Daisy. You're such a love bug." Instead of diving into him and just like reacting. And then what I used to do, which is being like, "Oh my gosh, what did I do wrong?" And blah, 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 but criticizing myself for it. All I did was say, "Oh, I'll go first." It literally took maybe 24 to 48 hours. Not even that long, where I was just like, "Okay." Because it's not just that I started acting differently. It's not just that I changed that behavior. Even though it was playful and it was behavior that I enjoy, it was not necessary. I have a lot of fun. I'm a very joyful person. I'm very playful anyway. So I didn't need to play in that way. I can play in a different way, right? So I was like, "All right, I'll go first." So I just started shifting, and it's not just the behavior, it's the intention, because energy follows intention. So I set the intention to say, "I'm going to take responsibility for this and I'm going to go first." And I swear to God, he just turned right around. Unbelievable how powerful it is when we just decide, "I'll go first." So that's what I would encourage for you, is to choose to go first. Laura says, "Yes, I think love and hope. Yes, yes. I feel lost with me trying to help everyone." Yes, see, you're taking on too much love. Don't try to help everyone else. Just bring yourself back into alignment. Bring yourself back into, ooh, what gets me excited? Like, what lights me up? What's fun and playful and joyous for me? And how can I integrate that more into my life so that I do not feel stagnant, so that I can tap into infinite energy? How do I do that? The Akashic records. I mean, honestly, that when I came back from sepsis and I couldn't freaking move, it's the only place I could get my energy for a very long time. Now I get it from multiple sources, but primarily from the Akashic records. And why? Because it's the highest frequency space. So as you elevate your frequency, whether you use the Akashic records or some other modality to heighten your vibration, if you're feeling stagnant, get pissed, because pissed is actually higher on the emotional frequency scale than stagnant. So get pissed, start there. Release some anger, write that shit out, stomp it out, whatever you need to do. It's a very physical emotion, right? And then you can focus on moving up to the next step of joy. If jumping up to joy and passion feels like, "Oh shit, that's a tall order. I can't do that, Laura." That's fine. I totally get it. And I don't want you to shift that quickly, honestly, because then you're going to be like twitching, because you're going from like, "Oh God, I feel like shit," all the way up to super joyous, and you're going to be a little twitchy, right? That can be a lot. Okay. I'm getting messages from my team that the internet sucks. Yeah, it might just be Facebook. Facebook is kind of wonky. Sherry Jones, thanks for sharing, love bug. Are you seeing me clear enough over there? I did that today and took care of myself first. Good. And I called my love back to listen and sit on my hands and zip my lips. Zip my lips. I love that you say that. I can't get pissed anymore. It's funny. I could move mountains when I got angry. Yeah, you know what? Anger is like super, it gives us so much momentum. It's super good. Like anger is just, it gives us so much energy and honestly activates us and ignites us. We have a lot of like, there's a lot of cues in anger as to what we're passionate about. A lot of cues in anger. So it's really important for you to identify, like, what are the kinds of things that get me pissy or that used to get me pissy? Because there can be a lot of cues in there as to, that means I'm animated. And that's good that you're animated, because animated is better than stagnant, because at least you're feeling, right? You're feeling something and you're like driven to do something, even if it's pissed off and yelling at somebody, you're driven to do something. And so that's better than just this like muck that you're sitting in. Does that make sense? Angela, this rings true for me too right now. I need to focus in and not try to help fix everyone else. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it goes out and pops right back. I know. I'm sorry, guys, that this feed is so wonky tonight. I did all my things that I do, which is restart my computer before I go, take off the Wi-Fi on my phone so that the devices aren't going crazy. Got my kids off their devices. So I would argue that it could be spring equinox energy as well because we have a lot of strong energy in the cosmos right now. Tara, hi honey. It's so good to see you. I miss you. Yes, anger is higher than stagnancy. You're very welcome, love. Yeah. So it's important because when we go into fix it mode, guys, every single one of you needs to know this. It is entirely about us. We are trying to save other people because we want to be saved. There's a part of us that wants to be saved. There's a part of us that wants to be fixed. So do that shit first, or just do that. And you will see that the things around you are also going to shift and change. Okay. All right, guys. So let me know if there's any other thoughts or questions coming up. And friends, I don't know if you guys saw this on my feed today, but I have a new free intensive coming up. I'm so excited. It's so exciting. And actually, we're going to be diving into some of this stuff too, which is talking about like the different layers at which we experience. This free intensive is about money mindset, right? And it's about bringing in more abundance into our lives in all sorts of ways. You know, when we work with money energy, we're not just working with money, right? It's an energy. So, and it's a very passionate energy. So we're also working with passion. We're working with creativity. We're working with intimacy. And intimacy can also be sexual energy. So we're working with all of these energies when we work with the money energy. So why would you not join me for this free intensive to get all of the shifting of your old money mindset, getting rid of any shame you have around money? And we're going to be talking about these different layers at which we experience things, right? So I'll put the link here in the comments so you guys can sign up for that free intensive. It's going to be on April 2nd and 3rd, which I think is a couple weeks away from now. I think it's about 2 weeks away, maybe a little less than 2 weeks. And I'm going to be doing it on my Emerge Healing and Wellness Facebook page. So it's public, but if you guys sign up through the link, you're going to get the workbook. The workbook will be coming to you a couple days right before the intensive, but you'll be getting access to the workbook. And it's really important to integrate whatever's coming forward into your energy field that I'm saying or that the AKASH is bringing forward into words and onto paper in your own form, because that's how you're going to really internalize this information and actually carry it forward with you. Okay. So I'll put the link for that. Hi, Sam. So good to see you. You're welcome, love. And actually, you are here live. It's just kind of laggy because Facebook is kind of wonky tonight. Oh, Tara, I've been feeling unworthy or unseen in most parts of my life, especially at work lately, and I'm working through it, but I could use an extra boost. All right, so let's all of you Reiki practitioners or energy practitioners out there, send in a little extra boost to Tara, along with myself. And the question that they're bringing forward for you, Tara, too, is you're feeling unworthy or unseen. So where are you feeling like you don't want to see yourself? What are the parts of yourself that you're having trouble seeing right now? Getting curious about that, not getting judgmental for going through what you're going through right now. And realizing that at work, of course, those relationships are reflecting back to you. The other thing I would encourage you to do is to go into Room for Healing, which is my private Facebook group that you're a part of. Go into Room for Healing and go into the units section, or they call them guides now, into the guides section. And you're going to find the book study that I did on Love Yourself, Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And there's a chapter on work. And there's some very, very good exercises in there that can benefit you. That I could list them all right now off the top of my head, but I think it would really benefit you to just sit with that. I think it's only like 30 minutes or something. I don't know. And do some of those exercises to just get a greater level of awareness around how you can approach your mindset and shift your energy around what's going on with work right now. But either way, I'm going to send you some love. Okay. All right, guys. So I am live here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on Awoken TV. Thank you for joining me here live or on the replay. Please feel free to share this with anyone that you think could benefit from listening to this information about conscious relationships. The more people that have this information, the greater our planet is going to do with raising our vibration, with being in collaboration with one another, and being in collaboration with each other here as well. So thank you for being here. I will post on Saturday what the topic I'm going to be talking about on Sunday. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And definitely make sure to join me in the love you. Bye.